Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play F1 Manager, right, yes. So, had my haircut. Yeah, I had a little bit of a trim. It was getting to that stage where it was getting a bit too long for my liking, so I've lopped it off on Friday. Anyway, today is Sunday. You'll be seeing this on Sunday, simply because I would normally be streaming this evening. It would probably have been Sabranti or CK2, but I've got 2 games of football this evening, and the second game is at 7, so I won't be back until 8 at the earliest. Then I have to get changed and mess about. So I've decided to not stream this evening, rather than rush around after 2 games of football. Could be a bit tired as well, you never know. But so no stream tonight, so I'm giving you this instead, hence why you're seeing this today. We'll be back streaming on Monday with some CK2 probably, and I'll skip football on Wednesday and stream again. Because Wednesday's football's just a kickabout, so I'll stream some more Sabranti on Wednesday as well. So you're not really missing too much, to be fair, because I'm gonna take Wednesday as my stream day in lieu. Anyway, here we are at the qualifying result for our next race, which is at the Hungaroring here in Budapest, Hungary. So as you can clearly see, the Ferrari front row lockout from Sainz Leclerc battling hard at the last stages, well, the last lap of the last race, which was quite exciting. So the championship rivals are battling again. Leclerc, however, has another penalty. Remember, he started at the back of the grid in France. He's now got another penalty. I mean, again, these must be component-based penalties, but if you were going to take them, why not take them all in one go? Why spread them over 2 races, especially on a track where overtaking is a little bit more tricky? I think there's only 1 DRS zone on the main straight. And other than that, it's a tricky track to pass on, so taking penalties here, not very wise. Max Verstappen qualifying in 3rd, Perez in 4th. The Mercedes a bit more competitive here, simply because it's a circuit that favours low speed and medium speed cornering along with acceleration. Therefore, again, our car's strength is medium and high speed cornering. Anything that involves low speed cornering or top speed or acceleration, that's where we tend not to be quite as strong. Nonetheless, 6th and 8th is still nothing to be to be turning your nose up at, is it? So we are splitting the Mercedes with Lando, so you know, still very happy with that result. Any shocks? Not really. Everything looking pretty much as it should be. The Alpines clearly battling with the McLarens and the Mercedes from time to time. The Alphas have slipped back a touch. The Alpha Tauri is looking pretty crappy here, to be fair. The Haas as well. So yeah, pretty much as we expect. So without further ado, I'm going to dive in, because I've literally got about an hour and 15 minutes, so this really needs to be a quickish race compared to normal. Can't be sat here blathering on for 1 hour 45 minutes, so without further ado, we're going to dive in. Off camera, we just give Lando and Daniel their development points as per random number generation, and we're still waiting for our car parts to come. Our new upgrades, which I think the soonest will be 20 days time, so we've still got a good 3 or 4 races before we get to see all of the new upgrades coming in. But anyway, without further ado, strategies, very simple. The soft tyre is certainly not a race tyre. It's only a 1/10 of a lap quicker than the mediums. It drops off quicker than the mediums. It does less laps than the mediums. Therefore, the medium is clearly the far better race tyre. Won't be using softs in this race unless there's a safety car or some such nonsense. One-stop strategy is doable. 2-stop strategy would also be quite an interesting one. Hamilton, a couple of seasons ago now, pulling the 2-stop on Max Verstappen. He did it in Barcelona as well. Then Verstappen got his own back and did it to Hamilton in, I think it was France. Sort of taking a second stop and using the fresher tyres to bear down on your opponent. Works in certain circumstances. This could be one of them, because we're going to have to cling on to these tyres a little bit, so it could be a viable thing to do. But again, because it's a difficult track to pass on, you have to really, the traffic has to be right, the situation has to be right for it to work. So if we're going to do it, we wouldn't certainly pre-plan it, but it's one to keep in our arsenal if the conditions play ball. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, strategies for most cars probably going to be that, to be fair. And let's get our drivers pushing hell for flipping leather here. Hell for leather. No messing about here, folks. Straight hammer down and do what we can as we start the race.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like
Okay, lights go on.
is it. The
There we go.
Hungarian Grand Prix.
3, 4, 5, and we are go!
And away we go.
Slightly longer hold there, but we're off and racing here with Lando Norris, and he is currently in P5 with Leclerc's 10th-place grid penalty. Up the outside of turn 1 on the outside is George Russell here. Are we going to take him around the outside? No. Ooh, it's still a bit tight. Now we have the inside for the next corner. This sweeping left-hander up the inside, and we're looking like we've got the move on Russell. And we're sweeping around the outside of Max Verstappen here.
Gain a position.
Oh, just tucking in there and tucking in behind Verstappen. Ricciardo in 6th position, riding on board here. Sector 2, we've got a bit of an incident. Competitor locking up. Yellow flag. Oh, we've got a bit. It's a big incident.
Sounds like there's been contact. Let's
Looks
see
like it.
what
Looks like it could be a big one.
Now just focus on the Haas.
The Haas here.
And there's the
No!
hit, and it's crystal clear who was in the wrong there.
Tragedy as the Haasses wiping. Well, I say one of them wiped out the other. Really, catastrophic day in the office for the Haasses there. Oh my gosh. Gunther Steiner, I can just imagine the horror. Okay, so Ricciardo in 6th, Norris is in 4th, and we're now kind of in. And you know what? I'm just going to
keep looking after the tyre.
let them push
Okay.
just a little bit more
Need to
down
push.
this straight
Okay, understood.
as one last ditch effort, and then we'll
Just be careful with this tyre.
drop the tyres off.
Yeah, confirm.
Okay, challenging Max Verstappen here. It's looking. Wait, don't get me wrong. We're still having a good go here. We're still having a good go. Still having a good go. And up into P3 we go. And next up, Sergio Perez. Come on, Norris.
Good job so far.
That's it. Don't let them have it easy. Do not let them have it easy.
Great overtake.
Look at this. Absolutely flying now. And now we're just going to turn down. Turn down, everybody. Turn down. Turn down. So don't get too excited. It's a long race. It's a 70-lap race, folks. Long way to go. Don't want to be too overzealous. Right. Okay. I'm going to minimise the preview screen because it's so jittery. It's all jerky on there. Hopefully the content will be jerky. But anyway. So pre-season testing has finished. 3 days of pre-season testing. I think it's clear to see. I know again lap times and fuel loads and engine modes and stuff like that, but it's quite clear to me to see. I'd be shocked if it wasn't the case. But the Red Bulls look to be the team to beat right now. Ferraris look pretty quick, quite close to them, and I think the Mercedes are still the 3rd fastest car. Better than last season's testing, certainly. But when it comes to the pure pace side of things, I'd be shocked if they're not the 3rd fastest as we get underway at the start of the season. Might be a little bit closer than the start of last season, certainly, but they don't seem to have the pure pace from what I was seeing in the testing and the conjecture that's been thrown about. But anyway, we'll see next week because it's the first race of the season. The 4th fastest car, best of the rest. It's going to be close, I think, between Alpine and Aston Martin. Aston Martin's looking pretty good this season, but we'll see. So lots to look forward to next weekend, the first race of the season, where people will be unleashing their real pace. Who's been putting the sandbags on? I severely hope Mercedes were really sandbagging, but no, I don't think they were. We'll see. But as long as this season is quite competitive, it'd be fun. I quite like the thought of a 3-way constructor fight. It'd be good if Mercedes are a lot closer to the front too, so we can have a proper 3-way scrap for a change, rather than just always being 2 cars in the mix. Let's have 3. It'd be quite good. Anyway, we'll see. So back to this race then, which is clearly settled into a bit of a rhythm. I'm not going to fight Verstappen. Clearly, this is not the fight that we need to be involved with here. We're just kind of clinging on, and you know, we don't expect to be quicker than a Ferrari or a Red Bull in outright race pace. So we'll just see if we can get dragged along with the DRS here. Ricciardo has got ahead of both of the Mercedes in the opening laps, and we weren't really watching, unfortunately. His hard work has gone unnoticed, as I've been wittering on about testing and stuff. But he's done a sterling job. He's going to have to fight against Russell. Could be tough. Leclerc scything his way through the field again. We expect him to pass us quite easily. Again, not our fight, but we'll see what happens as the race unfolds. But as we currently stand, it's P4 and P5 for the McLarens, which, I mean, 5 and 6 again is probably the best we're going to hope for today. Again, it's just a battle with the Mercedes. Try to get as many points as possible, try to outscore them where we can, and that's what we're doing right at this precise moment. Still a long way to go, but as things currently stand, looking pretty good. Tyre strategies. We've got a hell of a lot of people on soft tyres, which is rather interesting, including both of the Mercedes. And look how warm they are. They can't have been put on fresh. They must have been scrubbed soft. So are they two stopping? Are they two stopping here? They must be. They ain't getting to the end on one stop with these tyres. So they must be two stopping, which I didn't say is a viable strategy. But you've got to make your soft tyres work for you in this early stint, and that means getting ahead and making a gap. And if you can't get ahead and make a gap, then this strategy will unravel very quickly indeed. So quite interesting to see that strategy from the Mercedes boys. Leclerc, I mean, it makes sense for him to try something a little bit different. He was starting further down the grid, getting some soft tyres, maybe make your way through the field as quickly as possible, early, viable. But he's got the pace to do it. The Mercedes don't have the pace to make this work, I don't think. But anyway, we'll see. So yeah, the leading 4 cars all on the mediums, Ricciardo on the mediums, most other people on the soft. Could be interesting to see how that unfolds. Slightly different strategies playing into the mix here. But anyway, let's see how Ricciardo fares against a DRS Russell. Not very well. DRS. Traditionally, as I said, I think there's only one DRS zone here. I could be wrong, but I don't recall there being a second one. There's not many other straights on this circuit. Unless this, you can't see, but there's a kind of a straight towards the back end of the lap. We'll see if any DRS opens towards that side. But and the DRS on the main straight isn't the most effective on the calendar. So difficult to pass here. This could be a race that may well end quicker than others as we kind of speed through it a little bit if we get into a state of kind of, you know, clear air, not much happening kind of situation. But look, we got Norris now trying to hold off a faster car on softer tyres, which is probably a fruitless endeavour. I wouldn't advocate Norris fighting this too hard, but then again, don't wave him on by. Let's have a look as we now come into the straight here, and it's giving it a little bit of a go. It's giving it a little bit of a go, but this should be a done deal here. Yep, the Ferrari too quick. Norris just going to tuck him behind, now in 5th and 6th. But yeah, look at that. Ricciardo is relatively comfortable on the soft tyres against the on the medium, against the soft tyre Mercedes. As I said, the soft tyres, according to the stats that I checked before the race, are only a 1/10 of a second per lap quicker than the mediums, and that's when they're both fresh. As soon as you start putting life and laps into them, they degrade faster than the mediums. That's what I said. The soft tyres not the race tyre to be on when the mediums last longer, degrade slower, and aren't that much slower per lap. But anyway, I think we're seeing this in action right now as the Mercedes aren't cruising on by with their softer compounds. They're wearing quicker, they're tucked up behind us, and they have to do 2 stops. Bad news indeed for them, good news indeed for us. But as things stand on lap 7 here, Norris comfortably in 5th, like he was for much of the last race. Barely saw a car. A little bit of a battle with Leclerc for a little while, but that was going to always end on the strategy, and we pitted, and that's what happened. Other than that, he was just cruising around in his own little world, and that's where our car currently is right now in performance, because we are slower than the front 2 teams, as things stand, looking a little bit quicker than the Mercedes. So that kind of makes us just like this, in no man's land. Not quick enough to keep up with the cars in front, quicker than the cars behind. We end up in a gap like this, and just comfortable. But who knows, at the end of the season, when we get all our upgrades on and everything else, and start researching for next season's rule changes as well, maybe we can just kind of make that step forward. It is a pretty decently big step. They routinely qualify about a second per lap quicker than us in qualifying, the front 2 teams. So we're going to have to really make a big jump forward. But I'm confident Potter has got his team working like Trojans. He's cracking that whip, spending the cash, hoping to bring maybe Leclerc to the team next season to really take that step forward in terms of driver lineups as well. He's really making a concerted push, isn't he? So we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, Ricciardo's still looking comfortable. The Mercedes behind him, we're not pulling away from them, but similarly, they ain't really threatening to pass. If you're not passing on the main straight, you ain't passing anywhere else in this lap. Okay, so this is a double DRS then. So it looks like you get a dose of DRS just after the first corner. So let's take a look at anybody that's not there yet. Somebody that's actually in DRS would be useful. There, you get a look, it's open again. So basically, you get a dose down the pit straight, you take the first corner, and then you get a second short spurt of it down that short straight before you go into the second corner. I mean, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose, that, does it, to be honest with you? But anyway, we'll see it properly when we go around another time. So Norris pulling out a gap to Daniel, falling away from Leclerc, but looking relatively comfortable. The tyre strategy, we're quite in the window that we need to be in. No need for us to push because we can't make the gap to the cars in front. We don't have to make a gap to the car behind, so just take it nice and steady. That's all we can do. Right, so let's have a look at the car behind here. Here's Russell. And we'll take a look at his wing, which is open, shuts there. We go around the first corner, and it should get another dose of it. Yeah, second dose here, just down this little short-ish straight. I have seen it give team cars a little bit of a boost coming up to that corner. You do get some passes into that corner, but the time differential to pass on this track, you've got to be lapping probably about a second, maybe even more of a lap quicker to really make a concerted overtake in that kind of position. So yes, I'm just kind of intrigued. Is there a DRS zone down this upcoming straight here? I don't think there is, but let's just double check. Just double check, because it could be a strategy when we need to defend or attack to know where these are. Do you get one down here? No, it's not long enough of a straight. No. So it's one detection on this lap, which is around about somewhere around about here, I believe. One detection point and 2 DRS zones. That could be that could be the detection point right there, actually, that line. So you get yeah. So and was he a second? over a second away. No, he was just about a second within. So he gets his DRS down here. And again, he'll get his DRS after the first corner too. So that is the DRS situation on this track. Just had to double check that. But it makes no difference because Russell can't seem to make this work, which suits me perfectly fine. Okay. Norris very comfortable, in fact, and we're comfortable, so much so that I will double speed this. Just want to be careful that Russell doesn't make a move on us though, but I think we've got enough in hand to tootle round at 2 speed here. Norris is definitely safe and sound. It's just that Ricciardo we're keeping an eye on, but I'm not overly concerned about the Mercedes here. Russell, has he got DRS? Yes, he's just about clinging on to the DRS range of Ricciardo. It pulls him nice and close to this part of the lap, but then for the other parts of the lap, hang on a second, we might have a bit of drama here.
I think someone's run wide.
It was Perez.
Let's take a closer look. So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez.
Ah.
Oh dear, that's...
Barely. Speaking of the leaders, we've got Sainz in first position. Very healthy gap to Perez in second. Verstappen struggling to get past his teammate today. Comfortably in third at the moment. Leclerc is softer tyres, made gains and has now latched on to the back of the front 4 here. Next in his sights is Verstappen, but his championship lead currently is looking like it's getting slashed. He'll have to do 2 stops as well today, so that should be interesting to see. Norris, we know, is cruising round with his mediums, not a care in the world right now. And Ricciardo, look, that now has he got the gap that he needs? Yes, he's pulled it out. He's pulled it out. He was teetering on the edge of that 1 second for the past couple of laps, and now he hasn't got within it, which means that he doesn't close upon us, which means that we should now start to pull away even more. Oh.
I let you down. My bad.
Lando.
Okay, understood.
Lando, pull it round, mate. Oh, no. Oh, he's done it again. He's done a Silverstone. He's done it again. Come on, pull it round, mate. Pull it round. Spin it round, will you? There's a gap now. Spin it. Spin it here.
We can take a look now. Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris. And that spin is undoubtedly going to cost them time.
Oh, you don't say, Crofty. You don't say. Sherlock Holmes is on the case.
That's going to be a big blow.
Come on, spin the car round, will you? There we go, 13th. He's now got his work cut out. Oh. God's sake. Okay, so Danny Rick is going to have to shoulder the burden of ensuring that we get as many points as possible. Another driver has locked up. Who is it?
Oh, big lock up
It's
there.
Ocon, who's just slipped in behind. Oh, he's behind us anyway. Right, so we're up to P12. Gaining on Gasly. We're going to have to now start utilising some of the toys and the pushing and stuff with him because he needs to make up the time. So we'll have to see if we can scythe him through the field a little bit. Getting ahead of the Mercedes at this point, probably very difficult, but we can hopefully get round about maybe 8th and 9th. Couple of points. Ricciardo's going to have to just maintain his cool now because he is the one in the lead. We've got an incident at Sector 3. Can't see who it is from the timings here. It's just a little bit of a running wide incident.
Was that a lock up on
Latifi. Well, I'm not concerned about that. So when are we coming in roughly? Round about lap 30. Round about lap 30, we'll be coming in here. You'll say it's a long race, is this one? But yeah, Mr. Norris is going to have to start pushing to make these places back. He certainly won't be finishing fifth now, but as I said, it's a case of damage limitations at this point. The second time he's spun in, well, I think Silverton was probably about 4 or 5 races ago now, but the second time he's spun, and when he was in a very good position, he was wiped out, of course, from the Red Bull ring, so we won't really count that incident as being his fault. But yeah, dear me, dear me. Hamilton pitting already on lap 15. As I said, soft tyres, not the strategy. He's going to have to pit again, and it's going to put him down the field in a... he's going to come out on fresher tyres, clearly, but it's going to be difficult for him to pass. Putting on hards, they will not make it to the end, so he's going to have to come in again. And where's he going to come out? We are down the straight with Norris. Hamilton coming down. Ocon's ahead of him. Will Vettel get ahead of him? Yes, it will. Will Stroll get ahead of him? Yes, he will. So he's going to have to start passing some cars here. Okay, that could be good for Norris, because we've got to stop and he's got to stop, and if he can't pass us, then this is good. Russell will suffer the same fate, so that could be 2 places made up. So, you know, that's not looking too shabby for Norris right now. Could still make this work. Just got to be patient, not panic. Just pump in the lap times, maybe make a couple of overtakes or 2, and let the race come back to us. There's a long way to go in this race. Let's let the red mist just fade away and get back into the rhythm, get back into the routine. We're in the DRS range of Gasly, or soon will be, if we can put our foot down. Yeah, just about now, but it's kind of hovering around the 1 second mark. If not this lap, definitely the next one will be in it. It depends where we pass here. Depends where we pass. 0.978, 0.978, 0.978, 0.8, 0.9. Passing it, we're going to get it. We're going to get it, which will take us nice and close. Yep, we've got it. Right, excellent. So full speed, DRS open here, just takes us closer. We might be able to orchestrate and move in the next lap. If they're on soft tyres, which they are, they're going to be a little bit more worn than ours, so we might be able to actually really do something here, as his tyres are going off a little bit quicker than ours. So yes, let's continue to ride on board with Mr. Norris. Daniel just maintaining a nice healthy 3-second gap to the soft tyred Russell, and yeah, saving his toys for a little bit later in the race, just in case he needs them, because he doesn't need them right now. So just maintain that kind of pace, Daniel, and everything will be good. We're trying to push to see if we can get into 5th and 6th again, because if we can get into 5th and 6th, it would be nothing lost. We were going to finish 5th and 6th anyway, so that's our aim, and I think it's possible. Looking at who's ahead of us and stuff, and you know, a couple of people doing 2 stops, I think it's definitely possible for us to get to 5th and 6th here. But there goes the soft tired runners. They're all going in for their first of 2 stops. I think, strongly think, that they're 2 stopping here, which means that Norris now gets to push, and we're going to give him a little bit of tell him to reduce his lift and coast here, and just give him 3 or 4 laps of flat out driving, just to create a bit of a gap to some of these softer soft tired runners who have come in for a stop. We want to make sure that we just push a little bit. Hamilton is 11 seconds on fresher hard tyres, of course, so he will start to close that gap now, but he will have to get past us as well. Is he going to close 10 seconds by the time we make our stop and come on to fresh hards at lap 30-ish? That's 13 laps. He'd have to be lapping a second or a lap quicker, which I don't think he will be, to be frank, but we'll see. The timings aren't coming down quickly at all here, so we're quite comfortable, we're quite happy. Up into P8. This could be P8 genuinely here. Just got a couple more positions to make. Alonso is the main man that we're hunting down, I think. I think he's the main man that we're hunting for that kind of 6th position. He's the one that we want. So 1.9 behind Guan Yu Zhou here, so we want to keep pushing. He's on the soft tyres too, so his time we should be quicker. Yeah, we're 4/10 quicker that lap. So this is indeed coming down. Yes, it's coming down quite nicely. We'll keep him pushing for another lap or two on the old accelerator. Pedal to the metal, very much so. But look at the gap. 14 seconds is the gap to Verstappen here. Such is the pace difference between us and the cars ahead. As I said, still quite a way to go to close that gap down. But not a long way to go to make ourselves clearly the 3rd fastest car. Right, Norris gaining 1.4 seconds is the gap. He'll probably come into the pits this lap, to be honest. If he comes into the pits and peels into the pits, in fact, even if he doesn't, I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
Save fuel from now, please.
Save fuel for a little bit. Just want to use that fuel to defend a bit down the line, or use it to overtake when we get the DRS open. As it looks like we've got Leclerc passing Alonso up ahead of us. Leclerc on the new hard tyres that he's just put on. He will have to come in again though. But, he will now start to close down on Daniel, which is not a problem. But yeah, Verstappen's still not making any inroads on his teammate today, which is very, very strange. Not the faster Red Bulls, it seems today. Anyway, 1.3 seconds is now the gap. As we're approaching the halfway point of lap 19, coming up to lap 20 of 70. %53% on the tyres. He's made them last, to be fair, because our tyres are only 10% better off. Our last lap times, we were 5/10 quicker on the last lap. Hamilton is lapping only 2/10 quicker than us, so that's clearly not the pace that he needs to be doing to make his two-stop work. So we're very comfortable there. 1.3 seconds now the gap. Maybe just getting a little bit of a slipstream, even though we're not within DRS. Just a little bit of a toe down the straight there. 1.1 seconds the gap now. So we should be in DRS for the next lap, I think, if we maintain a nice smooth lap and continue to utilise our pace advantage here as Latifi pulls into the pits way down the field. Tyres are getting a little warm. It's track temperatures 48.5 degrees, air temperature 34.9. A very, very warm day here in Hungary, it seems. If only it would be 35 right now. It's quite a mild 10 or something outside today. It's mild enough, but yeah, I'm a sucker for hot weather. I do like a bit of warmth. Well, we're coming up to March now, so spring is just around the corner. The days are getting longer, so you know, summer is just round the corner. It'll be here before we know it. Barbecues and the whole kit and caboodle once again. Right, so we're not within the DRS here. 1.1 was a gap there, so next lap should definitely be closer to it. We've got 9 laps until the pit window. Norris's tyres are a little bit more warm than Daniel, simply because we have to push him a little bit now. We'll have to push him a little bit at some point in the future if we want to get past. Alonso, what's the situation with Alonso's lap times? 1:23.9, same as us. We're not really gaining on him, are we? Alonso is going to be the one that we're going to end up fighting with here. He's our target. If we get past Alonso, we can finish 5th and 6th. 2.9 the gap. Leclerc, he's gaining relatively quickish on Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, he has to stop again, as does Daniel, so this is, you know, track position that we have, bona fide track position, but yeah, those hard tyres are brand new. Well, I say brand new, they've done a handful of laps now, but much fresher than ours, should get the job done down the straight with DRS at some point in the next sort of 3 laps or so, maybe even 2. Right, we're in the DRS zone now of Mr. Joe. Let's start contemplating setting up a manoeuvre here. So not this lap, clearly we're miles behind, but this will allow us to gain down the straight, and then we'll get a second dose down the slight straight here. Sector 1 we've got a problem. Got a yellow flag out.
There's currently yellow flags.
Oh, it's Albon who's spun, which is fine. So now we're nice and tight. We're going to push on the engine. We're going to give him some ERS at the back end of the lap to try to set up a manoeuvre on the straight. Keep him nice and tight behind the gearbox of Guan Yu here. So let's keep going. We're in a nice healthy position. That's it. That's it. Keep pushing, Lando. Keep pushing. This should be a done deal. This should be a done deal. Right, we're going to go deploy now to keep him on the gearbox through this sector, and then we're going to switch that to overtake when we get round the final corner. But here we go. Here we go. Nicely done. 0.2 seconds, 0.2 of a second. Now into overtake mode. Oh.
We can use overtake.
Okay. Saves us the bother. Saves us the hassle. Right, 4.7 seconds. That's the gap to Alonso. Hamilton has closed the gap on us to 6.4 whilst we have been focusing on honing in on... oh no, it's 8 seconds. Okay, so he's closed a couple of seconds, which is not enough for this 2-stop strategy to work, so we're still looking quite comfortable. Still got toys available as well, but yeah. And here is the upcoming pass about to happen. Down the pit straight it will happen. I'll be shocked if it doesn't. 4.5, kind of gaining on Alonso. Kind of gaining. .5. Okay. Just be patient. Just be patient. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Still a long way to go here. 46 laps, in fact. 7.7 the gap to Hamilton. 7.6.
Okay.
And
Alrighty.
Leclerc has indeed passed us on the straight as we anticipated. Wasn't really a surprise,
And Ferrari just gained a place.
and wasn't really something that we should be overly concerned with here. Right, to speed should be more than fine right now. We're kind of in happy places. We are gaining on Alonso. Hamilton is slowly gaining on us. As long as it's only slowly, that's all that matters. So we're getting towards the back end of the stint, so we will start to push as we get towards that back end of the stint. And in fact, let's go and start pushing now, because we're going to be coming in around about lap 30. So if we can start pushing now, and then maybe try and even get an undercut on top, that could be quite good for us to leapfrog Alonso here. Means we've got to do a little bit longer on the hard tyre towards the back end of the lap, the back end of the race, sorry, but it might, you know, the gains to be had from undercutting here on a track that's difficult to pass on are not to be underestimated. 3.2 seconds, 7.3. Still got plenty of tyres, still got plenty of fuel. We are pretty much almost within the pit window. A couple of laps. Let's have a look at the tyre wear situation. Yeah, look at that, got plenty of tyre life left there. Plenty of tyres now. We've saved enough tyres to make that push. And Daniel's nice and comfortable, no need to do anything too flamboyant with him. As it's Norris that is the one that is making the inroads here as he gains on Alonso. 2.3 seconds is now the gap. As we continue to push, we're in our pit window, but we're not pitting just yet. And we're going to take this down to 1 speed as and when we get that little bit closer. As we start to maybe consider even passing him on the track before our pit window at this rate. So it's looking mighty fine. There we go, we've entered the pit window. Which again, not a bother. Not a bother, we just manage it. And pit window for Lando too, 1.8 seconds is the gap now to Alonso. 48% on the tyres, still happy with that. Still happy with the amount of excess fuel that we've got, as we're now 1.3 seconds. And this is where we'll take it down back to 1 speed as we contemplate what we're going to do. So we are within the pit window. If we pit now, it's a bit early. And we'd have to do a longer stint on the hards, but it could help us undercut Alonso. So I think what we're going to do is not this lap, but I think we're going to come in next lap, lap 29. And see if we can get an undercut going here. And this is where Alonso comes in on this lap to poo-poo our plan. I thought he was going to come in then, you see. He didn't. And we continue. Right, full push, full push, full push.
Stay close.
Let's come in, get on the hards. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get that undercut going. We're quite happy.
And we're boxed this lap.
We're going to make Ricciardo go longer. He's got plenty of life in these tyres, so just going to go really long with Ricciardo, long as possible, so that he's got fresher tyres for the end of the race. He's got such a gap he can afford to not worry about being undercut himself, you see, so we can take him as long as we want here. But here's Lando, he's absolutely storming here. Storming up to the back of Alonso. No point of pushing anymore, simply because we ain't going to pass him at any point on this lap, and we're just wasting fuel. We might as well save that fuel for our out lap to make that undercut as effective as possible. Hopefully he's not coming in this lap. We'll see. If he does, at least we're closer. Coming around the last few corners here. Right, we're coming in now. Alonso isn't coming in now, so the undercut is indeed on. Let's have a look at this as we enter the pits.
And just remind you to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
Pit limiter, pit limiter. Down he goes to the arduously slow 60 mile an hour, 40. I think it's different in certain tracks, to be fair. We've got an incident in Sector 2. We need clear air
Seems to have been a lockup.
to make this work, though, and we are coming out. Need to get ahead here. Don't get behind. Don't get behind. There we go. Oh, that's just nice. Just nice. Just nice. A bit of extra pushing on the engine. Hopefully get that undercut working now. So now we need to keep an eye on Alonso, who is going to be coming in soon, I reckon. So this is now us affecting the undercut. Fresh hard tyres will be quicker than Alonso's used mediums right now. Don't want to take the life out of them, but we'll certainly give the order to go flat out. Here's Alonso coming round the last few corners here. Is he going to be pitting this lap? I mean, it would make sense for him to pit this lap. You don't want to be undercutting, being undercut by 2 laps. That would be even more catastrophic, but here we go. Let's take a look at Norris and see if that undercut is going to work, as he's coming round now. Alonso is in the pits. He is stationary. Very shortly. Here he is. Here, set of hard tyres will be going on. He's coming out of the pits as Lando is coming down the straight as we speak. It's going to be tight. Here's Alonso coming out of the pits, now up to full speed. Here's Norris already at full speed on warm tyres, and the undercut has been completely affected to perfection. And that's it. That is it. We're ahead on the track. We are the quicker car in general, I think, on race pace. So that is us effectively. When it all is shaken up and all the stops are done, that should be us in P6. P5 and P6. It should be. We're ahead of Joe. We've undercut Joe as well. Well, no, actually, he came in first. We overcut Joe. Bottas needs to pit again, surely. Yeah. Because he came and put hard tyres on after starting on softs. So that's something to keep an eye on. And here is just Daniel, just cruising around, as calm as you like, picking up the points for the team. Yeah, we've long forgiven him for his wiping out of Lando in the Red Bull ring. We've long forgiven him for that. He's showing some really good consistency. The only driver on the track not to have pitted yet. We continue to drive around for a couple more laps. We'll give him 2 laps of pushing, then we'll bring him in. We've got plenty of time in hand here to be able to. We will be not as fast as the freshly hard-tired drivers that have just pit recently, but nonetheless. It's all about having those nice fresh hards, couple of laps longer. And compared to the others, I mean, we could probably do another 4 laps on these tyres and get them to where we need to get them to. But it's all about, can we get them there quickly? And that's the key. Is what pace are they doing? We could check lap times. 1:23.6, 1:22.6, so Hamilton's a second per lap quicker. Let's have a look at his next lap, 1:23.6 or 1:23.0. We must have had a bit of traffic or something there. And that lap, so 1:23.0 compared to a Hamilton. Let's have a look at Hamilton's next lap, see how much quicker he is. Probably will be very similar, yeah. So 4 tenths per lap quicker, which is nothing to be concerned with here. When it comes to our pace, yeah, looking pretty good. Right, I think we're going to bring ourselves in now, nice and steady, nice and comfortably, before we have to mess around with back markers. Just push, get yourself in and get yourself out as quickly as you can, as we, with Norris, have created a 2.8 second gap to Alonso, and we're going to just pootle around now quite comfortably. For this stint, we will hopefully pass Bottas at some point. We've got these 2 cars here who will be pitting again, the Mercedes, which will leapfrog us up to P6 quite comfortably. It's looking not too bad. So Norris, good recovery drive after his little jaunt, little spinaroo. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo, making his one and only pit stop of the race. And yeah, he should come out quite comfortably. Ahead of Bottas, hopefully. Actually, I don't think we're going to be clearing Bottas. I mean, clearly we need to be clearing Norris. Because if we haven't, that's bad. Because like Daniel has, I mean, Norris has spun. So, you know, if Norris was to pass us, that would really say, Daniel, what the hell are you doing? But no, we're quite clearly ahead there, and well ahead of Bottas too. In fact, quite nicely. There we go. Got the 2 Mercedes ahead of us, which shouldn't be an issue. Just give Daniel a little bit of pushing on these. Don't need to push the tyres, in fact.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
No. You can push on the. You can push.
Okay, understood.
You can push the engine as hard as you like, pal. But just keep the tyres nice and intact. And we're going to be quicker than the Mercedes because we're on fresher, hard tyres than them. So we need to clear them ideally. But then again, they're going to pit and they're going to be miles behind. So we'll see. So Daniel in P7, Norris in P9 is gaining on Bottas. He's pulling away from Alonso. He's looking relatively comfortable right now. Both of our drivers are looking relatively comfortable for P5 and P6. This should be a done deal, really, if we're being honest. But stranger things have happened. Safety cars, red flags could all change the complexion, because a red flag right now would be horrendous for us, because everybody can come in and get fresh tyres and we'd be in P7 and P9. With everybody on the same tyre. So a red flag right now would be catastrophic to our chances. I say catastrophic, it would be bad. We'd have to pass the Mercedes on the track with the same tyre, which clearly is a worse position to be in than we are now, when they clearly have to pit again under full race conditions, thus putting them way down the field. But anyway, so that's what I said about that right at the start when I was talking about the strategy. You know, 2 stops on this track work in certain circumstances. All of the cards have to fall in the right path. All of the stars have to align, and if they don't, it is not the best strategy for this track. A 2-stopper. Everything has to be spot on when it comes to the conditions for it. You don't just choose to do it from the off, really. I mean, it's working for Leclerc simply because he's got a very quick car, for example. He'll have to come in again at some point. And when he does, he's going to slip behind the Red Bulls, for example, but he will be on a quicker tyre and he doesn't have to worry about the Mercedes. So, I mean, it makes sense for someone such as him to give it a try. He's on fresher tyres than Sainz. He should be gaining on Sainz, I think. Oh no, he's on worn, isn't he? He's pitting again. He's 2/10 laps slower than his teammate, in fact. So, yeah, not ideal for him, but he had to try something different. Ricciardo is gaining on Russell. I don't think we'll have the pace differential to make a pass here, but you never know. Let's just bump up to 2 speed here for a little while until we get a little bit closer with both of them. Not quite in the DRS, but we'll be getting there shortly. Ricciardo, similarly with Russell, not quite in the DRS, but should be getting there at some point. Let's go back to balanced now, as we've pushed the engine as long as we really need to. We could actually just cruise behind the Mercedes for several laps and still be quite comfortable at this point, which is probably the better thing to do, rather than risk passing them and having a situation where we, I don't know, lock wheels and plough into the back of one of them, for example. Just be nice and comfortable and let them stop again, and we just cruise off into the distance, perhaps. But anyway, we're not making too much of an inroad at the moment, just sort of steady 1.4. Norris, however, is, so we're going to join Lando at this point, as we're just about a second behind Bottas. Yep, still 1.1, not DRS worthy there. Bit of slipstream down the straight should help us. There you go, you can see the gap coming down because of the slipstream effect. Now less than a second. And we've got a bit of play here, so we're going to just use a little bit of pushing. And do we have a bit of tyre life available? We do have a little bit, but don't want to risk it, because Bottas will be pitting again, and he's not slowing us down massively that we have to get past urgently. But we still have to get past to some degree, because the Mercedes are like 7 seconds up the road, 9 seconds up the road, which isn't ideal, because we want to be a bit closer than that for when they pit, because when they're going to pit and come out on fresher tyres, we don't want them charging back towards us, really. So we need to close that gap. So let's see. Are we tight enough to want to use a bit of overtake here? I don't think we're close enough, but we're going to give it a try.
You can use overtake there if you
So
need it.
push the tyres around this corner. We're still a little bit too far. 0.7, probably not close enough here. But let's just
Maximum pace.
give it a bit of a try here. Slipstream, DRS, ERS, fresher tyres. Look at the speed differential. Late on the brakes. Oh, he's late on the brakes indeed. And he'll get a double dose of DRS here. So he'll get DRS and pull away from Bottas.
Nice job, mate. Nice job.
And that was last of the late breakers indeed.
Big lift.
Let's watch that off board if we can.
McLaren gain a position.
Quite
Let's
a
take
big
look at
speed
the replay.
differential
Watch this.
down the
We're looking
inside,
at
and
Lando
look at that, forces his way through. No guts, no glory, and he needs some guts today to make up for his blunder.
Bold move.
Bold move it was, but he made it work, and now next up is our teammate, but we're trying to close the gap now on the Mercedes if we can. So yeah, Daniel just pootling behind them, not really making an inroad. 1.5-ish, 1.6, 1.4, sort of hovering around there. Norris 5.5 will start to gain on his teammate because he's generally quicker. He's been about a tenth, 2 tenths quicker in qualifying than his teammate, so I'm expecting him to be quicker in race pace, as they're both given the same kind of strategy on the tyres and the engine. So yeah, just slowly kind of catching. But this is going to be us to the end of the race, really. So it is us just as we are, in a state of comfort right now. Everything is just neutral, pace-wise. We're going to give Lando a bit of pushing on the engine towards the back end of the race. When the Mercedes have come in for their stops, that's when we're going to unleash what power we've got to keep them at bay. For now, just happily closing down as we check the last lap times. A 120.9 versus a 122.3. So we are really looking pretty good there. 121.8, 122.3. Yeah, so we're definitely gaining on the Mercedes with Norris, which is perfect. Exactly what we want to see, and really helpful for when it comes to the pit strategy in terms of when they come in for their second stops. We want to be as close to them as possible so they've got more work to do to catch us. So yeah, really happy. Really happy. We're going to have to enact team orders at some point because Norris will eventually catch Ricciardo, and we're not letting him pass because he conceded track position when he spun off. So definitely not allowing them to race after Red Bull Ring. That was their one and only chance that they were given. Once one incident happened, that was it. Never shall they meet again. Anyway, 4.3, gap coming down, 4.2. Ricciardo actually now coming up to the back of Russell, only because Russell's trying to lap a Williams, which has slowed him down, lost him half a second there on Ricciardo, and has put Ricciardo into the DRS range of Russell, almost, not quite as he's past the detection zone, or is it? It was very tight. In fact, it is. His DRS is open as he now gains on Russell. Do we actually pass Russell on the track? That's the next question. Do we do it? I think we do. I say, why not? I say, why the hell not? Let's make it, let's go for it. We're definitely quicker. So giving him the full engine push right now. We're going to give him overtake on the ERS. We're going to give him aggressive on the tyre pushing.
Let's see what pace you can do.
Deploy to keep us nice and tight.
Okay, use deploy.
Yep.
Use deploy, and overtake for the straights. Okay, this is full
Use
pushing.
overtake.
This is full pushing, and look how tight we are. This should be a done deal here. Let's go off board for this one. Full power, DRS, ERS. This should be a done deal. This should be a done deal. This should be a done deal. Just about, and we'll get another dose of DRS right now to pull away, and that's a job well done indeed. Next up, Lewis Hamilton.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Lewis Hamilton next on the cards. But look at Lando. Look at Lando in the distance, just stalking, creeping ever closer. Indeed. Lando is not out of this yet, is he? Clearly. .4, Russell, has he got DRS on us? No. He hasn't. Here comes Norris. So it's Sainz, Leclerc, Perez still ahead of Verstappen after the first and only stops for them. Hamilton, Ricciardo gaining on Hamilton. Russell just about keeping up. Norris gaining on Russell. Now here we go again, because Ricciardo is within, almost within, the DRS of Hamilton. Hamilton's lapping a car which will slow him down, which will help us get even closer. Are we within the DRS range? By the detection point. It usually comes down here. Ooh, just over a second it seems. I'd be surprised if we've got it. We have got it, so we must have just been within as we power down the straight, pulled away from Russell. And Hamilton is also behind the back marker now, so yeah, this is really not good, and that puts us right on the derriere of Mr. Hamilton as we I say Mr. It should be Sir Hamilton, shouldn't it? As we now are right on his rear end, and we will continue to push this and hopefully get him down the straight like we did with Russell. But look how close we are, absolutely harassing him here, maybe try to force him into making a mistake, pressure him into making a mistake. Surely he's too old and wise and experienced for such things. But, stranger things have happened. Right, we're going to start to push on the tyres now, start to give him deployment now. And then we shall
use the overtake button.
Start to set this move up if we can. So coming round to the penultimate corner here. Long left. And then into a right. And look at how many cars are ahead of us. Back markers. We are very close to the rear end here, and down we go. He's trying to defend the inside line, but the pace differential, the move has been done well before the corner here.
Good job.
And ahead we go. Another DRS again.
Keep looking after
Pull
the
us
time.
away nicely and hopefully get past these back markers. Look at them all. We've got to get past all of them here. Norris, 2 seconds behind Russell. It looks like we've just lost a bit of time because of Latifi. Lapping Latifi has cost us a bit of time with Norris, but no, it's no problem. We'll continue to make this up further into the race. Ricciardo, this is going to be just something to watch here. We need to be getting past these back markers as quickly as possible. One of them is getting out of the way. There we go, that's nice. Both of them getting out of the way, are they? Ooh! Get out of the way! That's definitely hindered us massively there. Okay, so giving Ricciardo a bit of extra juice here to power out of the last corner to defend against Hamilton. We don't need to defend with the ERS. I think we've got the pure pace because of the fresher tyres here. But we are putting to the inside to defend. I think we've got this. I don't think we have to be too concerned here. He is going to gain clearly, but he's still coming from quite far back, and the DRS it'll get down here will not even touch the sides, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, job done. I'd consider that job done at this point. We were clearly quicker than the Mercedes. We have got more back markers coming, unfortunately. Leclerc's coming in for a second stop, which means that the Mercedes won't be too far behind. They're on very similar strategies here. See, Norris has got the back markers to come too, to get past, so his progress is being hindered a little bit. Hamilton is indeed pitting now. Russell will be next. Let's see where Hamilton comes out here. So fresh mediums, he's going to have to charge now for the last 22 laps. But where's he coming out, and how far behind the McLarens is he going to be? He's looking like he's getting a little bit of clear air. But there we go, out he comes. He's all the way at turn 1 whilst we're round a corner, round 2 and beyond, round turn 2 and off we're going. But we need to get the total gap once it evens out as to how far he is away. Ricciardo, back marker ahead of him. Russell, Norris now within the DRS range of Russell, but Russell must be surely pitting now at this lap anyway, so we're not going to tee anything up here, just maintain position. Right, Hamilton is 2 seconds, 5 seconds, about 16 seconds behind Norris. He has to gain at a second a lap to pass us. Well, just less than a second, maybe about 0.8 seconds per lap to pass us. He ain't making that up. Are you having a laugh? Russell isn't pitting yet. She's rather... You're not trying to slow us down, are you, for Hamilton, to make it easier? No, surely not. Surely not. We've got DRS here. And loads of back markers ahead too. This is a mess. Right, we're going to tee up a pass here, just in case he doesn't come into the pits this next lap. Ricciardo's got plenty of juice left in the engine, at least. The fuel wise, it's the tyres. We have a bit of pushing on the tyres available if we need it, but just want to just maintain as we are for now. Let's have a look at Norris. Right, Norris, where are we? Right, let's push, aggressive, bit of deployment just to keep us up with Russell here. Why didn't you get past? Why didn't you get past sooner than that? I mean, what the hell are you doing? Right, okay. Let's overtake. This is where it comes into
Overtake available if needed.
I mean, I wouldn't be sad if he goes in the pits, to be honest. There we go. Balanced, neutral.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Okay. So there we go, folks. We are in P5 and P6, which is hopefully where we are going to finish this race. But if we are to finish this race in these positions, we just have to hold off the Mercedes of Russell and Hamilton. Hamilton coming down the straight, he's behind Joe. Joe has probably got no more stops to do, so you have to pass him actually, because there's no more stops there required for him, so he'll have to pass him on the track, and he's looking like he's squeezing up the inside of turn 3 there. Is that turn 3 or turn 2? Depends if you count this little dog leg after turn 1 as a turn, but anyway, he's passed and he's now 3.7 behind Alonso. Now passing Alonso might be a little bit more tricky, so we'll have to see. We'll double speed this again. We're quite comfortable as things currently stand. Again, Norris will probably gain on Ricciardo slightly, but 3.1, 3.0. Let's have a look at lap. I mean, it's difficult to look at lap times because we're lapping cars, which kind of puts lap times out of sync. Really, we want lap times when we've got open track. To judge how quick we are compared to the Mercedes and whether or not we need to push our fuel modes here. But it's looking about 14 seconds with 18 laps to go. Maybe the two-stop strategy that I was so critical of, maybe it's not quite so as bad as I might have thought. And don't get me wrong, we're still favourites. I would rather have track position and be in this position than in Hamilton's position right now. And it's still standing at around about 14 seconds. He's not gaining massively here. Can't see anything back marker wise as to why he wouldn't be gaining. Okay, there you go. He's gaining a little bit quicker. There was a gaggle of cars behind there, so maybe there was a little bit of slow down. Let's have a look at the lap times here. 121.6, 121.9. Okay, 0.3 is not going to be enough to make that work. So we're still quite happily comfortable. And the longer he's on these mediums, the more they will start to drop off. So again, comfortable, happy. We're getting past back markers, just about, as we drive around nice and comfortably on our medium tyres that are taking us to the end of, hard tyres, sorry, that are taking us to the end of this race. Should be taking us to the end of this race quite comfortably, as Hamilton is now right on the gearbox of Fernando Alonso. This should be perhaps a done deal down the straight, maybe. I mean, I hope not. The longer he's behind, the better it is for us. Ooh, he's got past. Puts him 12.8 seconds behind. So we can clearly see this gap and monitor this gap now quite happily. See how it's going. Lap times 121.2, 121.5. Again, 3/10. 3/10 is not enough per lap for us to be concerned. No chance at all. That's without us pushing. We've got a bit of pushing available. Only engine pushing. Tyres, we've got a little bit if we need to, but I don't think we do. Clearly Ricciardo's much, much safer because he's further up the road than Norris is. But let's have a look at the order here. We've got Sainz in first. Clearly driving off into the distance. Great for his championship chances. Perez, second, has been ahead of Verstappen for the entire of this race. Leclerc, two-stopping, taking a grid penalty. The two-stop, is it going to work? Let's see the tyre situation. Fresher mediums should be able to gain on Verstappen. Lap times, 119.8 versus 121.1. So yeah, that's looking like it could be a battle for the podium here, as he's gaining. We'll keep an eye on that one. But Ricciardo, nice and cruisy, not a care. Norris, nice and cruisy. Hamilton's not gaining anywhere near quick enough for us to be overly concerned here. Just happily just pootling about. Little pootle. Right, 3.5 here. Oh, and lots of back markers to sive your way through. That's going to halt your progress a little bit, Mr. Leclerc, isn't it? As we have 13 laps to go. Well, 14 if you include this one. 10.4. Just keeping an eye on that situation. But we're looking quite comfortable. Quite comfortable here. Should be good. Should be good. Has Hamilton got any cars to lap between us? Yeah, the two Alphas. Might slow him down. Yeah, we're more than happy. Right, 2.93 seconds, 2.8. Yeah, he's gaining on Verstappen here. This will be something to watch very shortly as we tick down towards the finish of this race. We've got an incident at Sector 3. Incident at Sector 3.
There's been a lock-up.
Bit of a
Let's
lock-up.
have a look.
Sonoda.
Let's look at this. The focus on Sonoda. Oh, and there's the lock-up. That's
dear.
the last thing they'll have wanted.
It is the last thing, but at least it wasn't a spin. Right, let's carry on. At least it didn't do a Lando on you, sorry. Lando not really gaining very much on Ricciardo here, which is a little bit of a surprise. But don't forget that Ricciardo's got slightly fresher tyres because he extended his first stint because he had the comfort to do so. And that extra little bit of extension is probably earning him the 1/10 of a second or two per lap that he's actually slower than Norris on this track. So the tyres making up for that little bit of lacking performance from a driver perspective. So goes to show just how effective it can be to have even just 5% fresher tyres. Really could be worth a tenth and a half, 2/10 possibly on some tracks of a second per lap. Anyway, look at that. Leclerc is now right on the gearbox of Verstappen. Not going to pass him, of course, during the lap itself, but let's see how he gets on as he gets towards that pitch straight. Should be a done deal, actually. And I mean, he may even get Perez too. So this is definitely a battle here for Leclerc to get Ferrari as a 1-2, powering down the straight with the DRS, makes it stick. Verstappen, in real life, I feel would have fought that far more vigorously than he did there, but nonetheless, it is kind of a losing battle when the driver behind is on fresher and quicker tyres than you. It's fighting a losing battle, really. So as Leclerc now starts to power his way towards Perez, we'll keep an eye on that, because right now Hamilton has closed the gap to around about 7 seconds. Again, we'll check the lap times to make sure that we're still comfortable here. 7/10, the last one. And we didn't pass any other cars. Hamilton is passing lapped cars, so let's just keep an eye on that one. 8 laps, 6.9 seconds, still nothing to be frightened of, but we're going to just give Lando a little bit of push now, just to cover off, to be on the safe side. Leclerc gaining like a Trojan now on Perez, looking for that Ferrari 1-2, and coming round the last sector now. This again, you would say should be a done deal, but Perez is going to get some DRS from the back markers, so that'll help him actually to defend against Leclerc here. So I don't think Leclerc will get him this lap. Back markers just delaying the inevitable as Leclerc comes round, and is now on the gearbox, coming up to the second sector of this lap, and it looks like he was trying to pass Perez during the lap itself. He's like, I don't flipping need DRS, pal, I'm going to pass you on this very difficult to pass circuit, as they drive side by side for the entirety of the rest of this lap by the looks of it. And good grief, some good car control demonstrated, but when all is said and done, the Ferrari is just too quick, hence why he was able to pass without even needing DRS. As laps continue to tick down, Hamilton is 6.1 seconds. We're giving Lando, obviously, the order to absolutely boot it with the engine. He will gain on Ricciardo because of this, but not quick enough for us to be worried that he's going to wipe him out in an act of revenge, perhaps. My face is probably shining now because the sun is shining right on me and I can't see my preview screen, so apologies if, you know, a bit of a bright light. I have got my new blinds now, but I've not got them. Hang on a second. See if I can maneuver these. Is that any better? Oh, that might be better actually. Right, let's carry on. Let's carry on. 5.4 seconds. Still relatively comfortable with that one. 3.8 to Ricciardo, he's still comfortable. .5, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so Leclerc, it's clearly not going to gain on Sainz, but yeah, Ferrari 1-2, Sainz once again eating into Leclerc's championship lead if all continues to go according to plan here for the Ferraris. Perez, Verstappen, the two. 2 by 2, in came the animals, 2 by 2, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, Alonso spoiling it, and then 2 Alfa Romeos, and then 2 of them, and then 2 of them, and then Tsunoda spoiling it, and then 2 of them. It's a 2 by 2. 2 by 2 affair. Right, 4.9 seconds the gap. Still comfortable. Still very comfortable. There we go. Coming up now to the last sort of 4 laps of this race. 4.5 seconds actually. That's looking a little bit fruity here. I'll give him some deployment now. And tyre life wise, a little bit of pushing as well. Just a little bit squeaky bum, you see. Bit squeaky bum time. I think we're fine. Okay, ERS has been drained, so now we can only use neutral. 4.3 seconds. .2. So look at the last lap time. 3/10. That's fine. That's fine. Right, 4.1. 3 laps to go. I'd say it's looking comfortable again. Just had to just give Lando a little bit of a hurry up. He's gaining on his teammate here. That's just. I don't need to give Daniel any sort of special treatment. I think we're going to turn everything down now. I think we're quite clearly going to be fine for the next 2 laps here. So it looks like we're going to be finishing in the order that you see. It looks like Bottas has just passed Alonso for 9th position here as he continues, because don't forget he's 2 stops, so he's on the fresh mediums here as he's now 18 seconds behind Russell. That's as far forward as he's going to get clearly into this race in terms of his position. No higher than 9th, barring any incident. So there's been no safety cars here, no drama, no weather, a difficult track to pass, probably not the most exciting of races compared to what we've had in the past, but sometimes a nice little cruise round to 5th and 6th to extend the gap on the Mercedes is not a bad thing on the pit wall, you know. What's exciting for the fans isn't often as exciting for the poor pit people. Sometimes this is just what we want to see. No dramas, no issues, solid points, job done. Less drama, better. Less pressure. Less drama, less pressure, you know. So here we come round for the final time to start our last lap. So this is our last lap. Clearly Sainz is coming across the line right now, which means that Russell's just been lapped, so he's finished the race. So he can't finish any higher than 8th now. So Hamilton 2 seconds behind Norris going into that final lap.
He's taken the win.
There's Perez crossing the line. Verstappen coming in P4. Bad day in the office there again for him. Ricciardo is 53 seconds behind Verstappen. A lot of work to do to make up a car as quick as those guys. And I was saying at the start of the session, oh, we should be there. You know, Potter's having these people work like Trojans, blah, blah, blah. That's quite a lot of time to make up. 54 seconds behind 4th place. That's not even behind the leader. That's behind 4th place. Okay. With Hamilton, 1.6 seconds. Another 3 or 4 laps and this would have been quite difficult. So the 2-stop almost working. Almost. Not quite. Anyway, there's Ricciardo. He crosses the line in P5 and Norris crosses the line in P6. So yeah, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Okay, so there you go. You clearly saw the order there. It's very straightforward. The thing to note is that we've made gains on the Mercedes once again. This is what I want to see. Drivers' Championship. 10 points now, the gap between Sainz and Leclerc. Leclerc eking that gap down with a solid performance there today. Verstappen, you might as well say he's out of the championship race at this point. Sergio Perez gaining on Verstappen there with a decent 3rd place. Ricciardo moving up ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship there, which is pretty solid. And Norris gaining by 2 points on Hamilton, and he's still some way behind his teammate. Constructors-wise, great for us. Another 8 points pulled out on Mercedes, which is really stamping our authority as the 3rd best team right now. I still don't think we've got the 3rd quickest car right now, but I think 3rd best team when you put strategy, driver and everything else together. Or maybe we do have the 3rd best. We don't. The stats say we don't, but we'll take what we're given. Okay, should be no development points now because we've used them quite recently. So we shall soldier on. Bonuses, of course, for their finishing positions. And that is the end of today's session, pretty much. Mid-season board review. Of course, we are well on target. Wow, they've given us a team bonus. How about a party as well? Right, 6 inbox messages here. Monthly car development report. As I said, look, we've got the 3rd best car in terms of low speed cornering. 4th best car in terms of medium speed and high speed cornering. I thought low speed cornering was our downfall. Apparently it's our strength all of a sudden. Yeah, so 3rd, 4th best car in cornering. But yeah, DRS, top speed and regular top speed and acceleration clearly suck. But clearly, as I said at the very start of the series, we were focusing on cornering because cornering is one of the most powerful attributes of your car, because every circuit has got a corner on it. So you can, if you focus and have a really good car at cornering, then you make up for the lack of top speed. There's very few tracks on the circuit that rely purely on top speed. We might struggle in Monza, for example, but other than that, we're going to be competitive. Hungary, yeah, financial report looking good. We have how much left of the cost cap? We've got 75 million left to spend. We're not going to get anywhere near that. That's just season balance looking pretty good. If you read those graphs accurately. Board happy, checking in there with us, and yeah, very, very happy indeed. So the next race on the calendar is in a couple of... it's the summer break, actually. It's the summer break. So every summer there's a break of about 3 to 4 weeks where there's no racing at all. And we're into the summer break. So literally, we've got 26 days or 25 days till the next race. And that's pertinent. Why, you ask? Because we're going to have a new floor, a new front wing, and a new rear wing all ready for Spa. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing just how competitive we are going to be with these additional upgrades after the summer break. Should be fun. So yeah, join me next time, folks, for one of my favourite, if not my favourite circuit on the track. It's Spa-Francorchamps here in Belgium. Old school circuit. And we're going to have a plethora of upgrades to look forward to too. So yeah, join me next time to see how we fare. Until then, it's bye for now.